Proof? Kodak was set up weeks before his court date.
I love it. Does he go everywhere with you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Does he act a fool or does he know how to act right?
He know how to act.
Today at Lime Report, we will be giving you the scoop on Kodak Black's criminal case. The Florida rapper was just sentenced to 46 months in prison and claims he was set up in a prison fight weeks before his court hearing. His team stated that Kodak was set up in that prison fight to keep him behind bars for a longer period of time. And it is pretty fishy that he was doing great up until this scuffle that occurred just weeks before his court date. Be sure to stay tuned until the end of this video to get the full details on how he was drugged and set up. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment the keywords "set up" below to enter a chance of winning our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. Now let's get started. The claim. Kodak was no stranger to spending time behind bars. The rapper has been locked up over 5 times in the last 2 years alone. Yet this was his longest time serving in his life. Kodak's camp tells sources that Kodak was slipped something to entice him to get into a prison fight, which led to the rapper hospitalizing a prison guard. They claim he was enticed in this fight so that the prosecutor can sentence Kodak to a full term in prison. The rapper did show incredible strength after injuring a prison guard and fighting off his prison mate, which they believe he got his strength from whatever was slipped in his drink. The whole situation was a bit strange, but it occurred just weeks before Kodak's recent November 13th court date, which didn't seem to be a coincidence. The timing seemed to be a bit sketchy on when his scuffle went down. The rapper was on his best behavior since he was first locked up back in May, when he was arrested at the Rolling Loud Music Festival. He didn't have any incidents for months, and then all of a sudden he gets into a prison fight, ends up beating his cellmate, and then injures the prison guard who tried to break up the fight, which resulted in him sending the guard to the hospital. To confirm it all, Kodak was caught on camera drinking a cup of coffee just 20 minutes before the fight broke out. Sources say that a chemical substance was slipped into Kodak's coffee to get him to lose control. They wanted him to be on his worst behavior so prosecutors can sentence him to a full term in prison. The 22-year-old Florida rapper was just starting to go on tour earlier this year when it was all cut short when he got put behind bars in May. Fans and the hip-hop community were extremely saddened by his arrest since they knew his sentence would last. It seemed like the system was just against the young rapper, keeping him in prison at such a young age, just as he was starting to get some serious success in the industry. Sources came out with more details on Kodak's prison fight that were a bit fishy, and things just didn't seem to be adding up. The prisoner that was put in Kodak's holding cell was placed there just earlier that day, not long before the fight broke out. Kodak has never met that inmate before, and that same inmate was released on bond 12 hours after the fight had occurred, making it appear as if the inmate was enticed to fight Kodak after the rapper was drugged, and as a reward, they would help him get released on bond. The rapper, who was on his best behavior, displayed incredible strength and had to have several prison guards hold him back after he injured one of the guards. This seemed pretty unusual, especially since it happened just 2 weeks before his hearing. Kodak's criminal sentence. The rapper was sentenced to a 46-month prison term after his court trial that occurred on November 13th. This was Kodak's longest sentence yet, leaving him behind bars for almost 4 total years. The 22-year-old rapper's career has been put to a serious stop after his lengthy term was given to him. Kodak's charges stem back from falsifying information on government forms to obtaining multiple firearms illegally. He checkmarked that he had no active criminal charges on the form that is required to be filled out when purchasing a firearm. Kodak did have multiple criminal charges for previous crimes that he had committed. So after an extensive investigation, law enforcement arrested the Florida rapper in his hometown just moments before he was to perform at the Rolling Loud Music Festival. This broke news everywhere, and fans were mad that cops had arrested the rapper before he could perform one last time. Since the Kodak was arrested, prosecutors were trying to make sure he did not get out on bail this time and tried to portray the Florida rapper as a threat to society. They wanted to give Kodak a full sentence due to his extensive criminal history. This definitely wasn't his first rodeo. If the young rapper gets into any more altercations while serving his 46-month sentence, he could easily get additional time added to his term, leaving him behind bars for even longer. Kodak has a son that he was trying to go back home to. He is also a platinum recording artist now and is dying to get back to the recording studio. We are saddened that we won't be hearing any new Kodak music anytime soon. It is pretty messed up to think that someone would intentionally cause Kodak to lose control so that he can mess up and remain held for a longer prison sentence. But there were multiple things that happened in the last few months that show that Kodak was set up to get a longer prison term. The rapper had released his second serious studio album called Dying to Live just in December of last year. The album had amazing guest features from big artists like Travis Scott. It did extremely well, and things seemed to be going pretty well for the rapper for a bit. Kodak had been staying out of trouble for almost a full year, and he seemed to have grown up past his bad actions. Fans were excited to see the rapper improving his life and turning things around, but just when it was least expected, the rapper gets hit with another illegal firearm possession charge as he was entering into the States from Canada. The U.S. Customs officer had found the illegal possession of firearms and narcotics in Kodak's Escalade and arrested him on site. Kodak bailed himself out just days later on a $20,000 to $40,000 bond. But then, just a month after this occurrence, he gets arrested again at the Rolling Loud Music Festival, as we covered earlier. The sad part is that the 46-month sentence that Kodak was just assigned is not even the worst of the young rapper's legal troubles. Let's not forget that the rapper was hit with some serious allegations back in 2016 after performing at a concert in South Carolina. Kodak has taken an adult-aged high school student back to his hotel room after his performance. Kodak, who was 19 at the time, had started to make unwanted advances toward the woman, which resulted in him getting battery and assault charges that still have yet to be resolved. The accusations that were made against the rapper were pretty horrific, and these type of unauthorized advances are punishable for up to 30 years in South Carolina. Bill Capri, better known as Kodak Black, has been in and out of jail so many times in the last few years that they have yet to finalize a court date for these battery charges. At some point, he will have to go back to South Carolina to face his accuser, and if he is found guilty, he may face the full term of 30 years. 30 years, in addition to the 3 years and 10 years he was just assigned, would leave the rapper incarcerated until he would be 55 years old. That is a very scary thought for the rapper to have. This would mean his whole rap career would be thrown away, and that he would completely miss being home to watch his son grow up and help raise him. Fans are standing behind Kodak and hashtagging all over social media, #FreeKodak, to express their support for the rapper. But if these battery allegations are true, then he almost deserves what is coming to him in a way. It is known that Kodak is no saint, but he just seems to always gravitate toward criminal activity, and this is why he has spent so much time in prison so far. Vicious cycle. Kodak was raised around Pompano Beach, and since he was 15 years old, he has been arrested numerous times for very similar charges. The 3 charges that he constantly seems to run into were possessions of narcotics, possessions of an illegal firearm, and some form of assault. He has been arrested for all 3 of these types of charges on multiple attempts. Are the rules in place as well as law enforcement out to get Kodak? Or is Kodak doing this to himself by making poor decisions? Let us know in the comments below why you think Kodak deserves his freedom, or if you think he deserves to be locked up for his actions. His actions had led him to looking at serving some serious time. Between his gun charges and battery charges, he will be spending half of his life behind bars, which will drive the young artist crazy. We all make mistakes when we are young, but many of these mistakes went to follow Kodak into his 20s. Sometimes you are your own worst enemy, and sadly, this seems to have been the case for the Florida rapper. He was always going viral for one reason or another. Earlier this year, Kodak caught some serious heat after making some disrespectful comments toward the late rapper Nipsey Hussle's girlfriend, Lauren London. Many celebrities and rappers had called Kodak out for saying disrespectful remarks against Nipsey's girlfriend just shortly after Nipsey had taken his life and stopped supporting Kodak because of his remarks. This is just one example of Kodak's lack of self-control, and his lack of self-control gets him in trouble all the time. Do you think the rapper would really lose control and injure a prison guard just 2 weeks before his hearing? Or do you believe Kodak's team and timeline provided showing that he was actually set up so that prosecutors can slam the young rapper for a longer sentence? They could likely be trying to keep Kodak's sentence longer to make up for all of his track record of crimes. Either way, Kodak was out of luck. Even if a miracle happens and he is released sooner than in the 46 months, he will still need to fight a whole nother battle, which is a completely different beast. This battery charge is Kodak's most serious allegation, and is one that, again, could give him 30 years behind bars if he is convicted. This is a reminder that you can have it all, and it would mean nothing without your health or freedom. We hope that Kodak gets the shortest sentence available despite things not working out in his favor. Do you think Kodak was set up to get the longer prison sentence? Or do you believe that he has changed and that he was being set up to keep him incarcerated? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment the keywords Set up below to enter a chance at winning our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time here at Lime Report.